Iowa State is at Kansas. Kansas is the darling right now. And we can have a longer conversation about this game because I talked about it a lot on my radio show today. But Iowa State goes to Lawrence a 3-point favorite. Kansas, however, is the ranked team in the Associated Press poll at 24. They're 4-0. A good win over Duke last week. Before that was Houston. But again, this could be a wild scoring game, but Iowa State a 3-point favorite, Scott.
I got to ask Rob a real quick question. And, I have my opinion on this, but what's a better job right now? Wisconsin, and when they get rid of their coach at the end of the year in all likelihood, or Nebraska? What's a better spot for Leopold right now? And I think it's Nebraska, but I wanted to ask you that.
I mean, if you're going, but I'll tell you, Alvarez put in some pretty good infrastructure and fan following up there in Madison. I think you've got the expectations in Madison now. For some reason, players go there. I mean, they still get good players to go there. I mean, you look at them from a recruiting standpoint. There's about 4 positions that if I'm a Big Ten coach, I want to recruit well, and Wisconsin's done very well at those 4 positions. It's defensive line and linebackers, and it's offensive line and running backs. And if you do really well recruiting at those spots in the Big Ten, you're going to be solid. And Wisconsin has always done very well. And it's to the point now where they're a little bit of a draw for guys who play those positions. And so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I think in terms of the overall money, I think Nebraska's the better spot. But I mean, Nebraska, I think, has been the better spot in that regard for the last 15, 20 years. And it hasn't fixed our problem.
Sure. So and let me answer that too, because there's an attraction for Lance in both. I mean, first of all, full disclaimer, and Rob knows this. I've known Lance Leipold for the last 20, 22 years of my life because he was the running backs coach at UNO, went on to become the offensive coordinator. So I've known Lance for a long time. You got to remember, his wife is from Nebraska, so there's the Nebraska tie there. However, Lance grew up in Wisconsin, went to college at Wisconsin-Whitewater, was a graduate assistant under Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin. And so there was that attraction. I mean, that would be a pull for him, right? I think there's probably a lot more pull probably towards Wisconsin. But come on, we're married. The wife usually wins out, right? Isn't that the way it always works out when it comes to the move? Yeah.
Well, and I mean, the thing is, though, too, with that, I mean, when you're looking at those, I mean, the other thing is, those coaches, I would hope, are coming in and they're going to try and do as much of a talent evaluation as they can. And just, I mean, whatever school where they see a higher ceiling, that's where you're going to end up going. I mean, I think you've got 2 positions. I mean, Travis, when you walk through it, I'm not sure in terms of just the on paper things we've talked about, we're not fairly even there.
Yeah.
I mean, Leipold's coached in Omaha and Lincoln. He's coached in Madison and Whitewater. I mean, I know he's from Wisconsin, but again, his wife's from Nebraska. Where in Nebraska, do you know?
I think Kelly's from Lincoln, actually.
Okay. I mean, it's just, that's one of those deals where I think a lot of those things are going to even out. And I think ultimately that's going to come down to, if it is Leipold that gets an offer. Like I said, I don't know that. This is all speculation unless Trav knows something that he's not telling even me. But I wouldn't think so. Don't give me that look.
I tell you
everything. You guys are always shady.
What do you mean? I tell you everything. You drop more stuff on me about you drop more knowledge after the fact when you can finally tell me something. Like, dude, why didn't you tell me that? Because you don't trust me. We don't have this trust factor.
I guarantee you will put it out there.
I will not. But it's interesting, Scott. You just dropped a bomb on me because I've heard a lot of rumors. You're the first person to say Paul Chryst was going to get fired. I haven't heard that one yet.
Oh,
that's a new one for me too.
I'm just speculating after the way they've looked a couple times this year. I just wanted to throw it out there, get everybody talking. You know how it goes.
Like Scott Spreitzer says Paul Chryst is getting fired at Wisconsin.
All I know is a guy from Vegas says Chryst is getting fired. Take it to the bank.
Oh, man.
Not till the end of the season. Come on, guys.
That's classic.